So, what happens when a crisis on your borders starts to shake your entire economy? Well, if you're Thailand, you don't just patch up the holes. You decide to launch one of the most ambitious economic transformations in your country's history. We're going to break down how a regional conflict is actually forcing this massive trillion-baht pivot, a pivot towards a future that's high-tech, green, and globally competitive. Okay, let's get right into it.
And it all really kicks off with headlines just like this one. This isn't some minor disagreement. People are calling it a full-blown economic war. We're talking about $5 billion in trade paralyzed and huge energy reserves under threat. The stakes are just incredibly high. But, it's exactly this kind of intense pressure that can sometimes create a diamond.
So to really get why Thailand is making this giant leap forward, we first have to understand the crisis that's pushing them to the brink. It all starts with these severe tensions right at its border. And the fallout for businesses has been, well, immediate and, frankly, devastating. And this is where you really see the domino effect in action. It's not just one thing. The borders close and boom, supply chains just collapse. That forces companies to use sea routes, which sends their shipping costs through the roof. At the exact same time, you've got politically motivated boycotts, which means canceled orders. It's so bad that some Thai companies are literally changing their brand names just to survive. But the real danger here, the thing that keeps people up at night, is the risk of losing market share for good. That could permanently change everything. So businesses on the ground, they're in full-on emergency mode. They've basically handed the government a 5-point survival guide. They're begging for financial lifelines, things like soft loans and tax cuts. They need help with those insane freight costs. And they're pleading for a major diplomatic push to fix their image and just get trade moving again. This is all about stopping the bleeding right now. And that brings us to the key question, right? Is all of this just crisis management, a temporary Band-Aid on a really deep wound, or is this shock to the system the exact catalyst they needed for something much, much bigger? And this is where the whole story pivots. While one part of the government is busy fighting the immediate fire, another part, the Board of Investment, is looking way past the smoke. They're designing a completely fireproof future. Their vision is to totally restructure the Thai economy around 3 core ideas: being innovative, being competitive, and making sure that growth is sustainable and includes everyone. So let's be super clear about the goal here. They are explicitly aiming for a new economy. This is not about doing the old things a little bit better. No. This is about completely shifting the country's economic engine so that technology, innovation, and creativity become the main things driving growth. Of course, you don't build a new economy just with ideas on paper. You have to build it with steel and concrete. And that's exactly what Thailand is doing. They're laying the foundation with some of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in the entire region, all designed to lock in its role as a global trade hub for decades.
And when I say ambitious, I mean these projects are on a colossal scale. First, they're massively expanding their main port, so it can handle a mind-boggling 18 million shipping containers a year. Then you have the Southern Land Bridge, a genius project designed to let ships bypass the Strait of Malacca, which is one of the most crowded and strategically risky shipping lanes on Earth. And they're even taking another look at the legendary Craw Canal, a shortcut that could literally redraw the maps of global trade.
And to give you a sense of the scale we're talking about, just look at that number, 29 billion US dollars, and that's the price tag for the Southern Land Bridge alone. This isn't just talk. This is a clear signal to the world that Thailand is dead serious about becoming a top-tier logistics hub. But here's the thing. This vision isn't just about being bigger and faster. It's about being smarter and cleaner. A core part of this new economy is making absolutely sure that all this new growth goes hand in hand with a real commitment to the environment and cutting-edge tech. And these pictures give us a fantastic look at the actual blueprints for their Green Port project. This isn't just some vague promise, it's a detailed plan. You can see here on the left their focus is on cutting greenhouse gases, doing things like automating port equipment, and even putting up wind and solar power right there on site. And then, over on the right, it gets into the nitty-gritty of environmental management, installing advanced wastewater treatment, using information systems to track pollution, and even starting a recycling project called Upcycling the Oceans. It's incredibly thorough. So let's drill down into some of the specifics. They're slashing emissions using automated cranes and even a strategy called slow steaming. That's where ships deliberately slow down as they approach the port to save a ton of fuel. They're installing wind turbines and solar panels right there at the docks. And they're going full steam ahead on becoming a smart port, using data and online systems to make every single move more efficient and a lot less wasteful. Okay, so you've got this incredible vision. You've got the huge infrastructure plans. But that brings us to the final, crucial piece of the puzzle: money. A plan this big can't be funded by the government alone. So how is Thailand planning to attract the global capital it needs to fuel this whole thing? Well, they've basically rolled out the red carpet for investors. The agency leading this charge is the Board of Investment, or the BOI for short. Their 5-year strategy is the master plan. It's a set of really powerful incentives designed to pull foreign investment directly into the exact industries they need to build this new economy. All right, let's break this table down because this is really the heart of their pitch to the world. The BOI has created these different tiers of incentives. The logic is simple. The more high-tech and strategic your business is, say you're in R&D and Group A1+, the bigger the reward. And we are talking up to 13 years of paying zero corporate income tax. That is an incredibly powerful lure for any global company. And the benefits go way beyond just tax breaks. The tax incentives are obviously huge, up to 13 years with no corporate tax plus no import duties on key materials. But, the non-tax incentives might be just as powerful. They're offering things like 100% foreign ownership, the right to actually own land, and fast-track visas for skilled workers. They're basically removing every major headache a foreign company usually faces when trying to set up in a new country. And this chart shows you exactly where they want all that investment to go. The focus is squarely on industries that are built for the future. You've got the biocircular green economy, advanced manufacturing, the digital and creative sectors, and high-value services. Every single one of these is a pillar of that new economy they're trying to build. So that leaves us with the final trillion-baht question. We've seen the crisis, we've seen the grand vision, the concrete plans, and the incredibly powerful incentives. Thailand is betting big. They are betting that they can turn a paralyzing border dispute into the very catalyst for a complete economic reinvention. The only question is, will it work?